Brabus is one of the most famous tuning brands in the world, but they've only ever worked with Mercedes until now. Brabus has just revealed a whole range of new cars that includes Porsches, EVs, an off-road buggy, and even a tuned Rolls-Royce. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about them, because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Car Wow. Buy, sell, Car Wow. The first new Brabus is a tuned Porsche 911 Turbo S. The design upgrades are pretty wild, but I want to talk about the performance stats first. This car is absolutely bonkers. The normal 911 Turbo S has a 3.8-litre twin-turbo flat six that makes 650 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. This means it's one of the quickest cars on sale. The coupe does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds, and the cabriolet is only a tenth of a second slower. But this wasn't enough for Brabus, so it's boosted the car's engine to 820 horsepower and 950 newton meters. Their Turbo S 820, which obviously is named after the amount of power it has, now does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.5 seconds. It isn't just quicker than the standard 911 Turbo S, it also has a higher top speed. Brabus says the 820 is capable of 211 miles an hour. That's 6 miles an hour faster than a standard Turbo S, which can only manage a mere 205 miles an hour. Brabus has also given the 820 a few aerodynamic tweaks to keep it stable at such ridiculously high speeds. It now comes with a new carbon fibre rear wing, new fins in front of the back wheels, and a new carbon fibre front splitter. There's more carbon on the bumper and around the car's air intakes as well. You also get a set of forged Brabus alloy wheels which measure 21 inches at the front and 22 inches at the rear. And the 820 comes with an upgraded exhaust system as well. And there's a new height adjustable suspension that can drop the car by up to 25mm over the standard Turbo S. Brabus hasn't forgotten about the car's interior though. There are bits of red trim absolutely everywhere and tons of quilted leather. It's on the doors, the seats, and even on the floors. If you don't like the BDSM mattress vibe, you can fully customise your 820's interior, for a price of course. Speaking of which, the new 820 is much more expensive than any normal 911 Turbo S. For instance, you can get a standard Turbo S cabriolet from Porsche for just £175,000. But if you want the 820 cabriolet, it's going to set you back more than £340,000. That's almost double the price. Porsche isn't the only brand to get some Brabus surgery. Rolls-Royce has gone under the knife as well. Brabus loves tuning G-Wagons, so you'd expect its first modified Rolls-Royce to be a Cullinan, but it's actually picked the new Ghost to work on instead. In standard format, that car is actually the most understated Rolls-Royce you can buy, if there ever is such a thing. However, the new Brabus 700 comes with plenty of visual and performance upgrades to help it stand out. Now let's start with the engine. The Brabus uses the same basic 6.75-litre twin-turbo V12 as the normal Ghost, but it's worked on the car's ECU, so the engine now produces 700 horsepower instead of the standard 563 horsepower. This means the Brabus 700 accelerates from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.6 seconds, which is a few tenths of a second quicker than the normal Ghost can. Okay, so that difference won't set your hair on fire, but the new 700 definitely will sound quicker because Brabus has given it a new active exhaust system. And that's not the only thing that's very un-Rolls-Royce about the car. There's a carbon fibre splitter, a carbon fibre rear diffuser, and even a carbon spoiler on the boot lid. And there's even more carbon inside as well. In fact, the only Brabus upgrade you might expect to see on a normal Rolls-Royce are the 22-inch satin chrome alloy wheels. But even these are bolted to adaptive suspension that's 20mm lower than you get on the normal Ghost. Now, if this sounds like your ideal roller, you'll need to pay around £550,000 to get your hands on one. That's about double the price of an ordinary Rolls-Royce Ghost. The next car on this list might just be the coolest thing Brabus has ever made. I say thing because it isn't really a car anymore. It's called the Brabus Crawler, and just look at it. It started life as a Mercedes G-Class, but there isn't much G left anymore. Brabus removed the doors, cut off the roof, and welded on a custom external roll cage. The remaining bodywork was rebuilt in carbon fibre, including new wheel arches, a new front bumper, and a unique bonnet with a huge air scoop for the engine. Speaking of which, Brabus also threw away the G63's standard 4-litre twin-turbo V8 and bolted in a special 4.5-litre twin-turbo V8 from the 900 Rocket. That's a tuned AMG GT 4-door if you aren't up to date on your Brabus lingo. The Rocket engine makes 900 horsepower and 1,250 newton meters of torque. That's 315 horsepower and 400 newton meters more than you get in a standard AMG G63. And all this means the new Crawler does 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, which is about a second quicker than the regular G. Brabus has limited the top speed though to a mere 99 miles an hour, just to be on the safe side. But the amazing thing about the Crawler is that it'll probably do 99 miles an hour over any terrain. Its tyres are so big that they make the giant 20-inch alloy wheels look tiny. And Brabus has fitted completely bespoke suspension systems that give the car 53 centimetres of ground clearance. All this should prove very handy because you can't legally drive the Crawler on the road. It's not just some stripped out race truck though, it's packed with all the posh features you'd expect from this German tuner. You get 4 individual carbon fibre bucket seats, but they aren't trimmed with leather like other Brabus cars. Instead, they're made with a special fabric designed for posh speedboats, so they shouldn't get ruined if climate change suddenly turns the Dubai desert into a swamp. But how much does all this cost? Well, Brabus is only going to build 15 Crawlers, and they're going to be more than £750,000 each. You could buy 4.5 AMG G63s for that, if you were so inclined. Brabus isn't just messing around with petrol engines, it's also had a go at tuning the electric Porsche Taycan Turbo S. Let's start with the visual upgrades. There's a new carbon fibre splitter, new side skirts, and a new rear bumper with some vertical strakes in the diffuser. Brabus has bolted on some new 22-inch forged alloy wheels and painted the brake calipers a bright green. If you're a fan of that colour, you might want to look away now because Brabus has fitted almost every other part of the cabin with a bit of eye-popping green trim. It's on the seat, the centre console, the dashboard, the steering wheel and the doors. It's even on the pedals. All this means you probably haven't noticed the carbon fibre dashboard trim and the quilted leather sport seats. All this stuff is completely customisable though, so you can have your Taycan interior trimmed in any acid neon shade you like. There is something you can't have though, and that's more power. The new Brabus Taycan comes with the same 761 horsepower and 1050 Nm of torque as the normal Taycan Turbo S. This means it does 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds and tops out at 162 miles an hour, just like the standard car. Brabus has fitted some adjustable suspension that drops the car by 20mm though, so not all the upgrades are just for show. And, as is always the case with tuned and customised cars, the sky is the limit. So you could find yourself easily paying almost £280,000 for one of these things. That's almost double the price of the standard Taycan Turbo S, even though it's no quicker. The final car on this list is the Brabus 900 XLP. In short, it's one of the fastest pickup trucks ever built. It uses plenty of bits shared with the insane Brabus Crawler, but instead of cutting bits off a G-Wagon, Brabus decided to weld extra bits on. This means you get 4 doors, a roof and a massive truck bed at the back. It doesn't have the same bonkers suspension as you get in the Crawler or the massive off-road tyres, but you do still get 49 centimetres of ground clearance thanks to a set of huge 22-inch alloy wheels. You get the same 4.5 litre 900 horsepower twin-turbo V8 as in the Crawler. But what about the performance? Well, the XLP, which probably stands for extra large pickup, is bigger and heavier than the stripped out Crawler. This means it takes 4.4 seconds to go from 0 to 60 miles an hour, which is a whole second slower than the Crawler, though it's still 1/10 of a second quicker than a normal AMG G63. Also, the XLP is a lot faster than the Crawler because it tops out at 130 miles an hour. On the inside, it has a similar amount of red trim, and Brabus says the XLP has more than 200 newly painted elements. And knowing Brabus, you could probably ask to have them all painted a slightly different hue if you wanted to. Well, for a price, obviously. Speaking of which, the 900 XLP is actually a smidge cheaper than the Crawler. Instead of £750,000, it only costs £660,000. You better be quick though if you want one, because Brabus is only going to build 10 of the things. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know some other videos you'd like to see, and click on those windows there to watch some more videos. And if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWire and we will help you sell your car. Just upload some photos, give a brief description, and our dealers will bid on your car to make sure you get a great price for it. Thanks for watching.